I call this meeting to order. Please stand for the invocation by Councilman Tabor and the Pledge of Allegiance by Balin Nakan. Hold on.
We just thank you for this day, Lord God. We thank you that you just watch over us and protect us, Lord. Ask us that you guide this meeting, direct this meeting, Father God. Give us the wisdom we need, Father, Lord God, and just bless us on this day, Father God. We thank you, Lord, for that cool weather you're bringing us tomorrow, Lord God. We just give you praise and glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, gentlemen. We welcome you to the Lafayette Parish Council meeting. As presiding officer and chair, I would like to make the following announcements. This is a public hearing. To address the council on any item on this agenda, please fill out the speaker form to submit your information to the clerk prior to the call of the agenda item, or you will not be given the opportunity to speak. Staff assistance is available if needed. Items for submission to the council should be handed to Council Clerk Ms. Veronica Williams, seated to my left. When addressing the council, please state your name and title for the official record. The 3-minute rule will be in effect. When addressing the council, we ask that no debating or confrontational statements will be allowed. Any interruptions of this lawful assembly is prohibited and will not be tolerated. The front row to my left is for media only. Food and drinks are not allowed in the auditorium. Please silence all phones and electronic devices at this time. Meeting procedures are by resolution and not Robert's Rules of Order. All documents with reference to meetings can be found on the LCG website. And finally, the council encourages your involvement in boards or commissions. If interested, please call 291-8800. A couple of chair announcements. Item number 8 on your agenda, airport renewal discussion is being deferred until October 5th per the presenter's request. Item number 20, JO 63, 2021, Community Development and Planning has proposed an amendment to include Chapter 26, Article 11 in the available alternative enforcement procedures. All of the assessment appeals, items 22A through item 22M, have been withdrawn by the appellants. We'd like to wish a happy birthday to Councilman Rubin, which he celebrates September 21st, today. And he's dressed to kill. We also wish a happy birthday to Councilmember Carlson, which he celebrates September 25th. And Councilman Tabor celebrates his birthday on September 26th. Yeah, apparently so. Somebody was busy. And on a final note, it was announced last week that 10 Acadiana leaders will be honored with the Women Who Mean Business Awards. That includes our very own Veronica Williams. Congratulations to you, Ms. V.
Thank you.
No other announcements from the chair. Council announcements. As expected, Councilman Rubin.
Thank you, Chair. Hey, look, you guys know I'm all about the kids and family oriented, so I just want to put a little announcement out there for this Saturday. We'll be doing a drive-in. It'll be free. Everything I'm about to tell you is for free. It's going to be over there off of Shirley Picard, which is between O.J. Mouton, behind the fire department, and next to the Muni golf course. In that parking lot right there, we'll have a drive-in movie. We'll be showing Black Panther. We'll be giving away to the kids first, and if there's left over, we'll give it to the big kids like us. Some snowballs, popcorn, hot dogs, water, chips, sodas, you know, and the volunteers, if y'all come volunteer, we'll feed you guys some hot links and stuff like that. But everything is free. You sit in your car, and that way COVID, you don't have to worry about the COVID and whatnot. You're inside your car, and the movie will play off your radio inside of your car. So just make sure you either bring plenty gas or jumper cables if you're gonna put it backwards in the car. And it's all free, guys. I hate saying names because I wind up missing, so I'm gonna look at it, see if I can find, but don't worry about it. It's sponsored by community activists in our community. Thank you, and if you hear my voice, you're invited.
Any other council announcements? No. Just to tag on what Councilman Rubin has said, Saturday in his district, and we had a great event. Parish Proud put on a clean sweep of Louisiana Avenue, and it was unbelievable the number of young folks that showed up to help clean. And I can't imagine how many pounds and pounds of trash we all picked up. And yes, I was out there doing my part and helping out, and Miss Veronica was there, and we had a great support from staff, and Carlos was there, and so forth. So we had a good, and the point is, we have a beautiful community, and so let's clean it up. And I think the youth are learning a lot from this, and I think it's a learning experience for each and every one of us. I don't think sometimes we realize how much trash we do have. And you know, the unfortunate thing, all the good that was being done, there was one car that passed us by and actually threw trash after we had just cleaned the area. Sad, real sad. I wish I'd have gotten their license, but he going a little too fast for me. I'm slow. But anyway, it was a great event. So if you do need, we do have numbers that you can contact, and Chuck and his staff are eager to work with you. If you want to do a community cleanup, or just a street or a block, whatever it is, the opportunities are there. So let's all pitch in, Lafayette, and get this thing done. Okay. And Mr. Mayor, if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw that yesterday you proclaimed Parish Proud, and you may say something on that. But again, the recognition of that program, I think it's due. Okay, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to, hold on, let me give it to you, and I'll let you go forth with your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate it. First, thank you to everyone that took the time to be here with us today. So thank you for your participation. It helps us out. Ms. Williams, Madam Clerk, congratulations. One of 10 ladies to be recognized. It's very much a distinct honor. So we appreciate all that you do. And it looks like the whole world is starting to appreciate you too. So just thank you for everything. And especially for the coffee back there. Because these meetings, meetings can get late. Yeah, we're working on that. Sid's the money lady. But also a really very serious matter. I just want to also congratulate and wish Councilman Tabor and Councilman Rubin happy birthday. You now have a discount at Denny's that you, what's that?
Carlson,
well, Carlson doesn't apply to this, what I'm about to say. Now you messed up my very funny joke. That might have been by design, though. So how about this? Happy birthday to everyone. And all our September birthdays. Anyway, Mr. Chair, I have no other announcements, and thank you for all that you do. I know. Well, you messed up my job.
Some of us just can't behave, can we, Mr. Mayor?
I keep telling
Okay, joint resolutions. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 3-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read.
Joint Resolution 28, 2021, a resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council allowing LCG to advertise for bid the Coulee-Oticon Drainage Improvements Project as required by the Louisiana Statewide Flood Control Program.
Been moved by Councilman Knock and seconded by Councilman Carlson. Any council discussion? Any public discussion?
No, sir.
Call for the vote.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3? Yes. District 4?
Yes.
District 5? Yes. Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Resolution 29, 2021, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council taking corrective action on the property description provided in resolution number, Joint Resolution 16, 2020, authorizing a non-warranty cash sale of the adjudicated property at 206 Raggio Drive to an adjoining landowner.
Need a motion second? Been moved by Councilman Nakam, seconded by Councilman Tabor. Any council discussion? Any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
Reports and our discussion items. Jeremy, please read.
Update on drainage projects.
Councilman Carlson, you want to begin the discussion? Hold on, and I'll give you the mic. That might help. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And our speakers can come up. So this is a similar presentation that was presented to the City Council 2 weeks ago. But I thought it was pertinent to all of our districts that we hear the same update. And so I wanted to invite them back and present on some of the drainage projects that we have coming up and that we're in the middle of. And as we know, all of the city is in the parish, so regardless of where the projects are taking place, I think it's pertinent to one, if not all of us up here. So at this time, can you guys introduce yourself for the record, and then I'll turn it over to you guys.
Sure. My name is Fred Trahan, engineer with Public Works.
My name is Jimmy Ricks, engineer with Southeast Engineers.
Jessica Cornet, Public Works.
Pamela Granger with McBade Engineers and Consultants.
Brian Smith, Director of Drainage.
Okay. All right. I don't know who wants to kick us off.
Who's going to kick it off?
I think Pam's going
Pam?
to give the presentation, and then I'll chime in if needed.
All right, thank you, Fred. We wanted to give this presentation because I know Josh and others come to you guys for approval of funding, and I'm sure you're thinking, where's it going? What are we doing? Where are we going forward? A lot of people talk about, well, we don't have a plan, and but we actually do, so thought we'd come and give you this little synopsis of what we're doing. And a couple of things that I wanted to let you know, if you hear me talk about flood risk reduction, we no longer say flood protection. After Katrina, that no one says that term anymore because it's kind of hard for us to say what we're going to protect when the goalpost keeps being moved with the kind of rain that we get. So we'll say flood risk reduction. So where are we? Well, right now you have 850 miles of earthen channels. That's Lafayette Parish. 20 miles of concrete line, 1,400 miles of roadside ditches, 300 miles of subsurface. 85% of the parish is going to drain to the Bayou Vermilion, which has limited capacity, which we all know, but you also don't have jurisdiction. So that just kind of frames up what you have right now and what you're responsible for. Right now, you currently have what's called a hazard mitigation plan. So while you don't have a plan that sits in front of you that says 2021 stormwater drainage plan or whatever, someone may think, you have several plans that have been done over the years. But most recently, can you go back for a second? So the hazard mitigation plan is something that you do every 5 years, and we've just updated it. And this last time that we did the updates, one of the things we asked was because you don't pay for that, the state pays for it, and the state gets their consultant. But we wanted to make sure that we had a comprehensive plan with projects. This is not just for flood, but it's also for other disasters. It's for ice, wind, it could be for fire, different things. But we wanted to make sure that we had projects on there because your hazard mitigation plan is one of the first things when you get disaster funding after any type of disaster. Could it be a 2016, a hurricane or whatever, they look at that and say, okay, when they go to fund projects, is it in that plan? So many of the projects that we're all working towards that are being funded and projects for the future were listed, and we did a very good comprehensive effort with all of the municipalities within the parish. And so that was adopted and is now finalized as of, I think it was August of this year, and is available for anybody who would like to see it. But you need that for funding. So that's one plan that you have that discusses what you do and what you can't, the projects we have, and are all thinking and moving forward with drainage. And then, in response to a Memorial Day event in 2014, I was not under contract by Lafayette Consolidated Government. I wasn't under contract by anybody. But being born and raised here and getting stuck at a hospital in Lafayette with a relative because I couldn't get home because of the rain, I made it my mission to be able to get us some funding, to get a plan, and to see how we were moving forward. You did have a Plan Lafayette, and in your Plan Lafayette, it said you needed a stormwater master plan. So I picked up the phone and I called the Corps of Engineers, knowing that they had funding for certain types of things of planning. And at the time, Mayor Ken Ritter was coming in to become, it was in August, this was August 2014, he was unopposed, becoming mayor. We hosted a meeting with every one of the municipalities and the Corps of Engineers to talk about putting a plan together, again, to be able to go after funding and to be able to say, charge for the future of what we wanted to do with drainage. So it was based on Plan Lafayette recommendation that was approved by previous councils in response to the 2014, and we finally got the funding, and I was wrapping up my plan for the Corps of Engineers when we had the 2016 flood. So because we had that plan in place, that's why they were able to fund as quickly as they were the modeling that Dr. Habib did for the Corps, and also led to being able to open the doors for the spot dredging and dredging that they've recently funded, because they have to have a plan. The Corps does not just fund projects if there hasn't been a plan and looked at it. So if you combine these two plans, which are both available, so if you combine the two of them, you can see long-term and near-term activities that'll be pursued. And you will see those things that we have been using right now in order to aggressively advance our flood risk reduction program, while we work on a comprehensive stormwater management plan that has been discussed and is actually ongoing based upon all of the municipalities together. Again, these plans will be more for the future and more for funding, because we do have a roadmap of what we need to do right now. So the categories that came out in that plan were increased detention and outfall requirements, channel cleaning and shaping, channel maintenance plan, roadside culvert, roadway cross drain and bridge replacement projects, regional detention, and regional planning. So those were identified, and that is how we are moving forward and how we are working, and the projects that you see and the funding that both the parish and cities have been going after all falls within these 6 categories. So in 2017, LCG implemented some stricter drainage requirements, and that was no net fill, required a reduction of post-development peak flow by 15%, and went from 5-year detention to 25-year, which is basically about 50% more. And so one of the questions that was asked when we made this presentation last time was, what are other municipalities doing, and are other municipalities doing the same thing? Well, Youngsville did theirs in 2016 and initiated stricter requirements, and I believe every other municipality is doing the same. So it's been a collective, again, while not in a document that you see that has everything, we've all been working towards that. In 2018, by the vote of the people, LCG rededicated funding for drainage, and you now have a parish-wide channel maintenance program. So it originally had 77 channels, and 25 have been added since then. And if you remember, they were prioritized in groups A, B, and C, and the original channels of A and B have been completed, which is about 72 miles, and that program continues. So as you can see, that's one piece of your pie. And these are just some pictures showing some of the work that's been done over the past few years. And as you can see, and again, another analogy that I used last week, someone said, well, is cleaning the channels, how does that help? And I say, you know, it's kind of like taking the toys out of the bathtub. You have a bathtub full of water, you put a bunch of toys, you can put less water. You take the toys out, you can fill your bathtub full with more water. So we're taking the toys out of the bathtub. Next one. LCG is currently developing a comprehensive stormwater management program, so this is working with each one of the municipalities. And what we've done so far in this plan is that they've determined the efficiency of each one of the major the road crossings, how much capacity does each channel have, areas where we need to do additional investigation and have potential drainage improvements, and also areas where we can't do that and where we have to do other action. Next slide. So as you can see, this is just a display of the capacity analysis. In red, that is where the capacities are about 10 years. So since you see that color the most, you can see that the majority of our channels, cross drains, are not much more than a 10-year capacity. So when you're going to get a rain event that's going to be outside of that, then it's going to be outside of its channels because that's what it can handle. A comprehensive recurring roadside cleaning program has been developed, and it's currently being implemented. In 2018, initial phases that totaled over 350 miles have been completed by the Drainage Department. And with the funding that we got from the emergency funding after the May 21st flood event, additional cleaning is going to be contracted out. So you'll have internal forces as well as additional forces. As we discussed a couple of weeks ago with the city, you have a large backlog. And if we just rely on internal, it's going to take us a while. So we need to aggressively hit this. We know what we need to do. And then after that, it'll be maintenance within the department, within LCG. As part of the bridge replacement program, they're currently being designed, all the new ones are being designed with no piles. This is going to help with maintenance and with drainage efficiency. We're going to go to box culverts or arched culverts. We currently have over 30 of them in design right now. And last year, we finally completed the bridge rating program so that we can better plan for the replacements as we go. So again, we have a big backlog. We've got some that have been closed, and we're trying to work through that right now. So with regards to detention, again, that's another piece of your pie. We had 90 potential locations that were targeted for evaluation, and 60 evaluations were performed, showing 20 of those with beneficial reductions in the water surface elevation. Of those 20, 4 have been complete, 4 are under construction, and 9 are in the design phase or waiting for a court permit. So actively and aggressively trying to get these detention ponds as that piece of the pie done. And so these are just some pictures of the most recent digging and how we've also added some structures, some flap gate structures to provide for more detention in some of our areas. With regards to regional planning, we know we have to plan with our adjacent partners, and we are currently working. The LWI program has a rain gauge and stage program that they're funding, and then there's also funding through the HMGP that Acadiana Planning Commission is working with the state for some additional rain gauges as well. LCG's installed 8 gauges of their own with they're going to supplement that to additional gauges because, again, we want to have a better idea, and it allows us to be able to forecast in the future. That's part of what we want to do. We do participate in Regional 5 Steering Committee. Both myself and Jessica sit on the committee. We have an agreement with UL to further advance some of the modeling, and there's different models from all the consultants that have been used that were developed for previous efforts that are being used as far as in our program to advancing the development of projects. So what you see here is a comparison on the left-hand side. That's the gauges that the state's going to be putting through the LWI program. And on the right, that's the gauges that will be put in our area in our Tesh Vermilion from the APC. So this intensity graph was done, I know Jessica and a lot of them from Public Works working with FEMA got a lot of information after the 2016 flood. And this was showing where the claim data was in 2016. And as you can see, you know, ground zero, everybody knew, was the Youngsville area, which is Bayou Park, Purdue, Cooley, LaSalle, and Anselm. We also had high intensity on Isaac Vero and the laterals of Isaac Vero, Cooley, Ildacon, and Cooley Mean. So we knew that we needed to do detention ponds in those areas, but we also needed to have some channel maintenance in the areas where we had high intensity. And if you take that intensity graph and you look at, to the left are all of the different items that were recommended in the plan that I worked on with the Corps on for area-wide drainage. Everything in yellow is what we've been working on, and it really coincides with everything that the intensity diagram shows. So one of the things that we had on there was to develop a new Vermilion River model, and we have done the Vermilion model. We've gotten new new side scan sonar survey and developed it with new flows. So we've done that part. It also said in there that we should dredge the Vermilion, that we should we should ask the Corps of Engineers to fund and ask them to dredge the Vermilion. We talked about detention ponds, as you can see, Cooley Ildacon, Cooley Mean, Cooley LaSalle, Bayou Park, Purdue. Currently, Cooley LaSalle and Bayou Park, Purdue are being done because Youngsville had them in this plan. They had them in their master plan. So when funding came up for the HMGP, we had several plans that had been voted on by councils, which gets you the points to be able to do it. So those projects are currently funded to the tune of $10 million right now, and we're hoping to start construction within the next 3 to 6 months on those projects. So you can see that while some may think that there's not a plan in place because they don't have that 2021 document, there have been. And I can tell you there have been numerous plans that have been done over time, but the projects weren't funded. And what I can tell you now is that with what we have, we are funding it. You are funding the projects, and you do have a comprehensive drainage program that's currently going on now. So while it might seem aggressive and maybe not seen, there are documents out there, and we had it. So there was no need to stop, wait for something totally new to tell us many of the things that we've been told all the way back to 1995, and in even some cases 1970. So our problem areas are the same, you know, and you have maybe a little bit different issue, but we know where we need to target our efforts, and we know what we need to do. And so our new plan is going to help us in the future, but it's also going to help us for funding and being able to get that as we move forward. And so I kind of went through it fast, not wanting to repeat too much to the people who've already heard it the last time, but definitely wanted to give you guys time to ask us any questions that you may have with regards to our program.
Okay. Okay, I'll turn it over to council members who want to speak. Councilman Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I definitely do not want to keep you guys here for 2.5 hours, but I do have a couple of questions. And first, let me say this. Thank you to all of you. I know this has been not just things that we talked about when we were running, or the mayor president when we were running for office, but this is translated to a lot of work for all of you over the last, I know it's been ongoing, that many of you have been with LCG, are doing this for years, but a renewed focus on this, an extra effort put into all this. I know we flood you guys with a lot of questions and calls, so first let me say thank you to really everyone up here for your additional work. I certainly appreciate it. I know the people that are being impacted by all of this work appreciate it, and so I just want to start off by saying that. And really, these are just a couple of questions for my knowledge. So I know you'd mentioned the Category ABC projects. Do we have a timeline for the completion of Category C? I know you said A and B were completed. So it's been, what, 5 years since 2016? Do we know?
So we're actually making we're way ahead of schedule, what we anticipated, because the bids have been coming in very competitively. But during this
Jessica,
program.
excuse me, pull up the mic so we can,
Is this better?
Yes.
Oh. But in addition to the A, B, and C, additional requests have been coming in since we started the program in 2018. So as new channels come to my attention, and they come through a variety of sources, I rate them. And if they rate high, if they rate like they should have been an A or a B, I try to put them into the program as soon as possible, because you're going to help.
So do you think C is kind of going to almost become an ongoing?
I do.
Okay.
I don't ever really see this program ending, because it is a maintenance program at
Right.
the end of the day. So as long as I have funds coming in, we're going to be cleaning, and I would anticipate some of the ones we cleaned in 18 will probably need to be cleaned in 5 years from now.
Okay.
So, but yes, if you have an area, send it to me, I rate it, and then we just kind of put it in depending on how high it rates.
Okay, perfect. And then I know, and I don't know if this is you or Brian, so I know we were looking at doing a regular maintenance schedule for the roadside ditches. So the number I'd heard from, I guess, a couple years ago was that there's like a 2-year backlog on the request for digging ditches, and then that was decreased a little bit. Can you tell us, like, if I request today that my ditches in an area be dug out, what that backlog is, and when will we be fully caught up where it's part of that ongoing maintenance and we're not having to play catch up on some of that maintenance?
The backlog is about 2 to 3 years, especially in the south.
Okay.
The south, and it's, the water generally flows south, so that tends to be the areas that need more attention, I guess. And also, if we were to get our program, up and running like we want to, we think in about 7 years we should get everything caught up, and then between 7 and 10 years, then we can kind of start the cycle over.
Okay.
And we definitely want to move to a more a proactive.
Right. I know we've
regimen
talked about
instead of-
that
yes.
a little bit. So is there, I guess the answer is always money. Is there anything that shortens that time frame to get caught up? Because the biggest frustration I hear is when people request ditches and I say, sure, but it could be 2 years from now. In their mind, and I get it, they're not looking at everything, but in their mind, that's a long time to have any work done or anything like that if there's not already work scheduled. So, have we looked at what it would take to actually get caught up sooner or to lessen that time frame a little bit? Because, that seems like, I know, it seems like a long time when you say 3 years from now, we'll dig your ditches out.
Yeah, definitely the money is a.
Do we have a
an
dollar
issue.
amount on what that would be to, using outside contractors, things like that to help get caught up?
The day rate is, I hate to even throw out a number, but it's upwards of about 7,000 a day.
A day?
To get all these resources. You're talking about dump
Times
trucks.
365, times 7.
Well, we don't dig every day. You got weather problems and all that good stuff. But it's just, there's a lot of variables when you do this type of work. You might get one concern come in, and it might be something that takes 2 days to accomplish. You may have to do a study, a survey, just to see what's going on. Sometimes we have culverts out of whack, out of grade, so we have to correct those things. And it can be 3 weeks to a month sometimes just to get a certain area accomplished. Every situation is different.
Right.
But definitely the outside contractual services is something we're leaning hard on to catch up.
Okay. So, but at the current rate, it'll take us about 7 years to get caught up and into a regular maintenance?
That's what we anticipate with the mileage we have on the books and needing attention.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Councilman Nakim.
Thank you for bringing that question up. When I first got on the council years ago, we were behind, but then we really got behind. Can you elaborate on where we were personnel-wise, just on that parish drainage crew, maintenance crew? We went from how many employees down to how many? Because the request of service back in the day used to be, and Joseph and V, we used to do it, and it would be, we could say 2 to 4 weeks, and then it was, okay, let's move it to 90 days, and then now we're at 180 days, and then now it's 300 and something days. So, I mean, it's, you know, I don't like that phrase, do more with less, and I'm not trying to pick on administration, but that never worked out for me, professionally, do more with less. So, you know, to piggyback off of what Carlson was asking you, it's going to take money, and then you need to evaluate the parish and see exactly what we're paying for drainage. And in order to get caught up and get everything where the service is on point, it's going to take a lot of revenue. It's going to take what, more employees, right?
Yeah, more employees, and even with that, more equipment.
More equipment, okay? So, you know, the public is going to have to be patient. They're going to have to wait for us to get what we can, because if we're going to do more with less, or we're going to have to operate with the revenue we got, it's going to be like that. I don't think you'll ever get caught up. I'm being honest. I mean, if we're going to be honest, we're going to be honest. You 6 years, 5 years, you know, the only way to fix that is try to restore what we had at one point, and then you would still need additional. So, you know, I would just say to the citizens and the public out there, Public Works and Drainage Department and the council's doing everything we can with the money we're receiving. We can't make magic happen. So we're doing the best we can. You guys are doing the best you can. There is a plan. The presentation's great. And until the community says drainage is really, really a priority, you know, thank God we have all this extra money floating around that we can do some things. But if you take away that opportunity, and we didn't get all that revenue coming in, exactly where would we be today on these projects? You know, it wouldn't be happening, you know? And development's going to continue to happen whether you're 7 years behind or not. So now you're just shoving more down the pipe, and it can't go. So, I mean, I commend you for what you're doing. I think you're doing a great job. You're both the staff, the department. Anytime I need help or we got to go visit some constituents, y'all have always been there, and we've always told them exactly what to expect. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes revenue and it takes funding. So the only way I think you can fix that gap of 7 years is the public's going to have to come to this meeting and say, I think we might need to evaluate the drainage millage, and maybe we need to invest a little bit more in the drainage department so we can fix the backlog, you know? Because it's not every day you're going to get this money fall in your lap. And then some of the money you are getting, it has to meet all of these criteria in order to do the drainage project, you know? The other thing is you got to have the landowners cooperate with you to access their property. You know, we want to clean these coulees, but I've seen one time where Coulee Ildacon, north in my district, took many years because they didn't want to sign the certitude to get on the property to clean it, you know? So there's a lot of things that come into factor in why we're not getting it done. And it has nothing to do with you guys or your employees or the councils. The fact that we just don't have the revenue to do it. We're doing the best that we can. So with that said, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for what you're doing, and we'll try to do the best we can. I don't think doing more with less is going to work, but we do as much as we can with what we got. That's what I would say. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilman Carlson.
Can we get a copy of this and maybe put it, Sidra, on our website? I think this is great, and that way when people ask, we can just share that link with people. Sidra? Oh.
I'm sorry. Hold on.
We wanted to ask you to do something. We didn't want you to respond
Sorry.
to it.
I did want to respond and let you know that it's already on the link. We've, under the drainage page, we put council presentations on there. And so we'll make sure that if there's future presentations, we're sure to put them there. And in the meantime, I'll send you the link so you know exactly where they are.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Councilman Rubin.
Thank you, Chairman. I too would like to thank you guys because I've called as well. You know, coulees in our district that has been dirty, you guys go in there and take care of it. And I know y'all are backlogged. And right now you guys are working on a project in Derby Heights. Y'all did the first phase. Great job. I was just wondering, I know the backlog, when can we see that second phase start to go into effect?
So it's at purchasing, and they're checking that the bid package is in compliance with the grant. So we will probably have a November bid date.
Okay,
And then most contractors don't like to start during Christmas, so I would imagine we would be starting beginning of the next year.
all right, thank you.
Turn yourself off. Okay, any other council discussions,
I
questions?
don't have any.
Okay.
Anything else from you guys? All right. Again, thank you so much for the presentation. I really appreciate it, and thank you for all that you guys are doing.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, appreciate it. Good job. Ordinances for final adoption. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 3-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read.
Parish Ordinance 43, 2021, an ordinance of the Lafayette Parish Council setting forth and designating the ad valorem tax millage rate and imposing taxes on all property subject to ad valorem taxation in the parish of Lafayette, and authorizing the tax assessor and tax collector for the parish of Lafayette to assess and collect property taxes at the 2021 millage rate of 1.71 mils for the Lafayette Regional Airport.
Need a motion, second. Been moved by Councilman Nakhan, seconded by Councilman Carlson. Any discussion from council? Any discussion from the public? Ms. Williams?
No comment from the public, but the law requires that we read these millage ordinances in full.
Okay.
Be it ordained by the Lafayette Parish Council that whereas the Lafayette Parish Council is the governing and taxing authority of the parish of Lafayette, and whereas the Lafayette Parish Council is empowered by law to levy and impose ad valorem taxes on all property subject to taxation in said parish as shown by the assessment roll for the year 2021. Now therefore be it further ordained by the Lafayette Parish Council that all of the aforedescribed whereas clauses are adopted as part of this ordinance, that the following millage rate is hereby levied on the 2021 tax roll on all property subject to taxation by the parish of Lafayette. Lafayette Regional Airport, 1.71 mils. The proper administrative officers for the parish of Lafayette, state of Louisiana, be and they are hereby empowered, authorized, and directed to spread said taxes as hereinabove set forth upon the assessment roll of said parish for the year 2021, and to make the collection of all taxes imposed for and on behalf of the taxing authority according to law, and that the taxes herein levied shall become a permanent lien and privilege on all property subject to taxation as herein set forth, and collection thereof shall be enforceable in the manner provided by law.
That's it? Okay. Okay, I'll ask again, any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5? Yes. District 1? Yes. District 2?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
Jeremy, please read in full.
Parish Ordinance 44, 2021, an ordinance of the Lafayette Parish Council setting forth and designating the ad valorem tax millage rates and imposing taxes on all properties subject to ad valorem taxation in the parish of Lafayette, and authorizing the assessor and tax collector for the parish of Lafayette to assess and collect property taxes for 2021. Be it ordained by the Lafayette Parish Council that, whereas the Lafayette Parish Council is the governing authority and taxing authority of the parish of Lafayette, and is empowered by law to levy and impose ad valorem taxes on all property subject to taxation in said parish as shown by the assessment roll for the year 2021. And whereas the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government will include the revenues from those taxes in its budget for fiscal year 2021-2022, and whereas the Lafayette Parish Council desires to establish the millage rate of the ad valorem tax levied for the purpose of paying the principal and interest on general obligation bonds of the Parish of Lafayette, and whereas the Lafayette Parish Council is required by the terms of Louisiana Revised Statute 471705A to adopt an ordinance which sets forth and designates the ad valorem tax and millage rates for the current tax year. Now therefore be it further ordained by the Lafayette Parish Council that all of the aforedescribed whereas clauses are adopted as part of this ordinance. The following millage rates are hereby levied on the 2021 tax roll on all property subject to taxation by the Parish of Lafayette. Exempted municipalities, 1.625 mills. General alimony, 3.25 mills. Roads and bridges, 4.47 mills. Drainage district, 3.58 mills. Detention and correctional facility, 2.21 mills. Library, 2017 to 2026, 2.91 mills. Courthouse complex, 2.51 mills. Juvenile detention, 1.25 mills. General obligation bonds, 1.85 mills. Library 2013 to 2022, 1.84 mills. Combined public health, 2.21 mills. Stormwater management, 1.18 mills. Parish-wide fire protection, 0.175 mills. Roads and bridges, 0.075 mills. The proper administrative officers of the Parish of Lafayette, State of Louisiana, be and they are hereby empowered, authorized, and directed to spread said taxes as hereinabove set forth upon the assessment roll of said parish for the year 2021, and to make the collection of the taxes imposed for and on behalf of the taxing authority according to law, and that the taxes herein levied shall become a permanent lien and privilege on all property subject to taxation as herein set forth, and collection thereof shall be enforceable in the manner provided by law.
Need a motion, second? Been moved by Councilman Nakam, seconded by Councilman Carlson. Any council discussion? Councilman Tabor.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'd like to amend the library tax of the 1.84 mills raised to 1.93, I'm at 97.
Proposed motion, I need a second.
Before a second, can we have this,
I need a motion on the floor.
No discussion.
It's been moved by Councilman Tabor, seconded by Councilman Nakam. Okay, now we can have that discussion on the 1.97 mills. Hold on. Okay, Councilman Carlson.
Do you mind introducing yourself for the record?
Ed Como, Lafayette Parish Assessor.
Thank you very much. I think I know the answer to this because I emailed you a couple weeks ago asking. And so because of the odd circumstances last year, I know that how I asked this question will give me a different answer, that there is a maximum millage rate allowed by law. But also, can you tell me what for these two millage, or I'm sorry, this one millage, for the two library millages, what was the maximum rate approved by the voters?
For this one, you're talking about the 1.84?
Yes.
The maximum was 2 mills.
2, okay. And what's the other one?
The other one is 2.91, and that was what the maximum was.
And so it's at the maximum. And so, Mr. Tabor, your proposal would raise it from 1.84 to, you said 1.97?
That is the current allowed maximum.
Current allowed maximum? Okay. Do you have the dollar amount that would increase for an additional revenue that it'd bring in for the libraries?
Hold on. Councilman Tabor.
It'd bring in $287,945 a year.
Okay. Mr. Como, so I know this is, if this were to move forward, this rate, 1.97 mills, would be in effect for this year that's coming up, but that same millage is up for renewal at 1.84. So it would effectively go from 1.84 to 1.97 for 1 year and then back down to 1.84. Is that correct?
If that's what the renewal's at, that's correct.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure I had it.
I didn't know what the renewal was at.
That's that's what I'd heard, and I didn't confirm that. But if that is correct, that is what would happen. It would be
It's exactly what would happen.
$287,000 additional for 1 year and then back to, okay. Those are the questions I had. I just wanted to ask that. So I will say this. I think that, last year when this question came up, my issue with with this millage was going beyond the maximum rate that the voters approved. And I know that the state constitution had allowed it, but that was my concern. I'm okay in this circumstance. It's 1 year. The library's still running a $1.2 million a year deficit, so this $287,000 would certainly help. It certainly does not get them out of, completely out of the woods. They're going to have to show substantial effort to reduce their expenditures in order to stay within what's been approved by the voters. But I'll support that in this case.
Okay, you finished? Okay, thanks.
I don't have any other questions.
Okay, any other council discussion? Mr. Conrad, go ahead.
Is my understanding that this was put on a ballot for 1.84 renewal? Is that correct? And not the 2 mil renewal?
I don't,
I don't have that in front of me. I can try to pull it up really quickly.
Wow. Okay, it just begs the question of why not go back at the 2 mils? Because then you're constraining yourselves to 1.84 at a $1.2 million deficit per year. And I'll point out something else. The drainage millage, which y'all just finished discussing, is in the same situation. It's in the same situation. If you put it on a ballot at what it was at, I'll find that here in a second, and that was 3.34, and you're at 3.58, it's going down too when it passes.
It's not on the ballot.
It's up for renewal in '22. It should be on the ballot soon, at some point. They're all on the ballot.
all of them are on the ballot.
You might want to rethink that ballot, because these are all going to drop if they pass. That's just food for thought, but it begs the question of, the issues.
Councilman Nake?
You bring up a great point, because I've been here before. You sat in my seat many, many years ago, and where we got ourselves in this exact situation is politics. We didn't do what we needed to do because we were afraid of the repercussion of increasing the revenue. And once again, we're about to go to the people, and we're going to lower it. And we just sat here with a drainage project, and we just talked about how we're 7 years behind. This is exactly what we cannot afford to do. That's what the previous council's done before. And that's why the parish is continuing to drop in revenue, and we continue not to get the services done. We're not asking the voters to pay more than what was already there. The voters approved that millage, drainage millage at, what was it, Conrad?
Well, it was 3.34 last time it went, but now it's it would take 3.58 to bring in the same revenue.
You see? I mean, these are the things that bothers me.
That's what I'm here for.
Because if we continue to go down that path, we're going to continue to bleed out the parish. And you can't get that kind of revenue on sales tax and think that's your Lord Savior for the rest of our lives. I mean, I don't know what we need to do, but if we're about to go to the voters and ask for them to support this, and it's going to be a decrease, administration, are we aware of what we're about to lose if the voters approve that? We got a budget we're about to adopt. We got all these future plans. How much less revenue are we taking in? I'm falling on deaf ears, I guess.
He's not here.
We are looking it up. We did not think that we lowered the drainage millage this year.
You didn't lower it this year, but if the renewal passes, it will lower it. And I'll give you an example. Here's a great example. The sheriff got caught in that situation last year, where he had a renewal that started last year, and he lost, I don't know, $250,000. I mean, he was shocked, and there was nothing he could do about it. So when these renewals come up, you have to take some of these things into consideration, and it's like, wow.
Absolutely. I don't know what we have to do, if it's too late or what's the deal, but we need to figure out what we have to do. But I agree with Conrad, and it's not about, not trying about going for more than what, I mean, we have to operate. It's a business. You have to operate and you have to sustain. But if we keep falling back and back and we're not aware of what we're losing, you know, I'm not asking to go and raise it. I just want to get it where we can at least bring in the same amount of revenue, worst case scenario. But we have to have this discussion down the road that if you want the services and you want the drainage and you want to stop flooding and you want to clean all these coulees and stuff, it takes money. And I just said that. It takes money. So we as a council and administration have to make sure we're not shooting ourselves in the foot. I'll give the floor to Councilman Carl.
Councilman Carlson.
Mr. Como, so I have the Secretary of State's website pulled up in the sample ballot. And so the drainage renewal on the ballot is for 3.58 mils. Can you explain to me how that is a reduction in revenue if that is what our millage rate is this year?
It's not if you went back at the 3.58. I didn't know if y'all were going back at the 3.34.
Gotcha. No,
But the library is definitely
Yeah,
going.
the library is on the ballot at the Secretary of State's website for 1.84 mils.
See, there you go. Then you hamstring yourself going forward.
Right, and I already asked about this. The language was sent to the Bond Commission and to the Secretary of State, so it's too late to amend that. I'm talking about this 1 year,
Yeah.
and that's why I think your amendment is appropriate.
Well, you can always pull that ballot issue also. That's an option, too.
We can always do
And
what?
pull that ballot initiative and go in the spring.
Yeah.
I mean, you have
because
options.
we got another chance to do it before the renewals due.
You done, Combs?
Okay, I am.
Okay.
Sidra.
Thank you, Con.
Councilman Carlson beat me to it. I'm looking at the same voter portal from the Secretary of State's website that he is, so same information.
Any other council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment on the amendment?
Yes, sir. Andrew Duyon on the amendment.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Andrew Duyon. I'm a former Board of Control member and currently a Library Foundation member. So I really appreciate you addressing this, Councilman Tabor. I really appreciate your suggestion to amend it. Councilman Nakian, you're absolutely correct. This is kind of the problem you get into when you don't take the opportunities that you have to adjust those millages and generate the same type of revenue that you had in the past. You actually start cutting into your revenue, and it's very discouraging, I guess, for those that run the systems. But anyway, so it's absolutely correct. The 1.84 mils can go up to 1.97, and I think that would be appropriate. The other is 2.91 mils. It could be adjusted. I think the legal maximum is 3.17. Now, I understand the situation that you guys, the way you think about that you think that the voter-approved amount was 2.91. However, you do have a legal right to adjust it to 3.17. When the property values go down, millage goes up, and that's really, so overall, you're supposed to be generating the same revenue. Now, what happens, in fact, I guess, is that some people, get hit because maybe their property values didn't get adjusted as much as someone else's, and they may pay slightly more taxes. But are you going to operate the system at a continuing loss? Because what is happening is, in your very own budget, you've got a $1.3 million loss you budgeted for, So you got to find ways to make up that revenue. Also, cutting expenses, Councilman Carlson, is the appropriate way to look at that as well, not just revenue. But you can imagine in a system whose revenues is about $10.7 million, that a cut of $1.3 million, and then to suffer the indignity of maybe even having your millage fail, or get approved at an amount less than what you could have actually put it on the ballot at, it really makes it tough. Things get to falling apart pretty quickly. And what will happen is some very severe effects, some very severe changes will have to made in our system. Severe cutbacks in service hours, and this is not just scare tactics, shutting down of some branches as a result. So you have to think about this very carefully. I do want to also take the opportunity to say that that November 13th, if you decide to just let it go, that November 13th ballot for the renewal of the millage is absolutely imperative. Encourage all voters to go out and vote for that. And anyway, thank you for your time, and let's hope that this
Thank you,
amendment
appreciate the
passes.
comments.
No other speakers,
No
Mr.
other
Chair.
speakers? Okay, if not, then we will vote on the amendment first. Mr. Counsel, could you give that amendment back to us, or Ms. Williams?
The amendment is to change the library 1.84 and raise it to to the adjusted maximum of 1.97 mils.
Okay. Ms. Sidra, did you have some comments you wanted to make? Oh, okay. Okay. So you understood the amended motion? Okay. We're ready to vote. Let's vote.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Motion to amend is approved.
Okay, we'll now, I need a motion to accept the motion as amended. Been moved by Councilman Tabor, seconded by Councilman Nakam. Any council discussion as amended? Any public comments, Ms. Williams?
Andrew, did you want to speak to? No, he'll pass.
Okay, no further discussion, then we will vote on the motion as amended.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Motion to adopt as amended is approved. Parish Ordinance 45, 2021, an ordinance of the Lafayette Parish Council declaring the Rue de Etoile Bridge Replacement Project a public necessity and authorizing the acquisition of the necessary rights-of-way, immovable property, and other rights requisite to the construction of said project, either on an amicable basis or through the use of the expropriation process, if necessary.
Need a motion, second? Been moved by Councilman Nakam, seconded by Councilman Carlson. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2? Yes. District 3? Yes. District 4?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
Joint ordinance for final adoption. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. Again, I remind you the 3-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read.
Joint Ordinance 55, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to sell at public internet auction surplus miscellaneous movable property which are no longer needed for public purposes as per the attached list internet auction.
Need a motion, second? Been moved by Councilman Nakam, seconded by Councilman Rubin. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Call for the vote.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 56, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the acquisition of a servitude over immovable property needed in connection with the stormwater management project and to provide for matters related thereto.
Need a motion, second? Been moved by Councilman Nakam, seconded by Councilman Tabor. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 57, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council providing for the abandonment of a portion of a utility easement on Lot 1 of Bayou Shadows Phase 1 and 2 subdivision located at 101 Westwood Drive.
Need a motion, second. Been moved by Councilman Nakane, second by Councilman Carlson. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Call for the vote.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5? Yes. District 1? Yes. District 2?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 58, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council providing for the abandonment of a certain portion of the right-of-way on Wilfred Road adjacent to Tract 1 of the American Waste and Pollution Control Company subdivision.
Need a motion, second. Been moved by Councilman Nakane, seconded by Councilman Rubin. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Call for the vote.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3? Yes. Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 59, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating and capital budgets of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $22,280 in funds received from the Federal Highway Administration, appropriating these funds within the Community Development and Planning Department, approving the use of existing capital funds in the amount of $5,570 for a required local match, and authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to execute an agreement with the Department of Culture, Tourism, and Recreation, Office of State Parks for continued work on the Attakapaw Ishak Trail Phase 2.
Need a motion, second. Been moved by Councilman Nakane, seconded by Councilman Tabor. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 60, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $3,420,195 received from the State of Louisiana Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness under the FEMA Flood Mitigation Assistance Program, FMA PJ 06 LA 2019-23 grant for the acquisition or elevation of severe repetitive loss properties and appropriating within the Community Development and Planning Department, and authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into intergovernmental agreements with the City of Youngsville related to the acquisition, demolition, and subsequent transfer of properties acquired through the FEMA Flood Mitigation Assistance Grant.
Need a motion, second. Been moved by Councilman Rubin, seconded by Councilman Carlson. Any council discussion? Councilman Rubin.
Thank you, Chairman. Man, go ahead on, man. I got hooked.
Go ahead, birthday boy. Let's go.
Miss Slyman, could you come to the front, please? Basically, she'll talk about the next couple that's on the agenda. And what we're trying to do is just get some clarity on how this works. Because I was under the assumption of some wrong information, and when I called her, she was telling me I was totally wrong. So if you don't mind, can you explain how this works as far as the governor, how he gets into this, and how you can't try to do it this year? If you do a claim this year, you're not going to get it this year. You might get it next year. If you don't get it next year, well, go on, do what you do.
All right, so I gave you all a cheat sheet just for the future, and then it does talk a little bit about the two grants that are before you tonight. So just so everybody knows, I have the definition of repetitive loss and severe repetitive loss, just so that you can see the difference. We do mention both of these terms in the ordinances, but there is a distinct difference. So I wanted to make sure you were all aware of those. And then the other thing that I'll remind you is that this is a competitive grant process. It's a nationwide grant, so it's not through the state. It is a federal program with FEMA, and it's not guaranteed to be funded. So we were fortunate that we were awarded for the FY19 application. Now, so the process includes us reaching out to stakeholders and constituents that we know have either been in touch with our office or on one of two lists. And I won't get into too much detail on the list, but we have a repetitive loss list from FEMA and NFIP. We work with our grant consultants to reach out to properties that we think will qualify, and then once those letters are sent out, the property owners can voluntarily opt in, if they will, to us analyzing their property and seeing if it would be a good candidate for the grant. So this is a voluntary basis. We cannot release the addresses of the properties that are included due to FEMA and federal law. So if you ask me where this is happening, I don't know and I can't tell you. So just our office is aware of that and the grant consultants know. And so obviously as part of the grant, we make sure that the management of the grant is done appropriately, but we just can't share that information publicly. You can see the different amounts though. So in this, the two applications that we submitted in FY19, there are a total of 27 properties out of 104 letters that were sent. So you can see the percentage there. The two different grants, the first one, which is this one here, is for severe repetitive loss properties, which qualify for 100% financing or 100% federal funding, which means that whether it was an acquisition or an elevation, this grant is going to pay 100% of those costs, okay? So there's no out-of-pocket for the property owners. You also will see that this is a parish-wide grant. So in this case, we have one property that's located in the city of Youngsville. So you'll see City of Lafayette, City of Youngsville, City of Scott, Dusson, Karen Crow, Broussard, and then unincorporated parts of the parish. So it's parish-wide. In the second grant, which is our JO62 2021, those have some severe repetitive loss and some repetitive loss. In the repetitive loss, the 8 that are in the repetitive loss, they do have a match, which is 10% in this case. It can be up to 25% depending on the property. So it will depend on whether or not the property owner, I mentioned it was voluntary, but it would also depend on whether or not the property owner can give that 10% match, right, to know if they would be a good candidate for the grant application. This year, Public Works is helping out with the match and is giving the $193,000 to basically pay that 10% match on behalf of the property owners. Again, that's not a guarantee. That happened this year because we were able to have the funding. But it's something that we are talking about internally and are, working and talking about, we could develop a program that maybe we can help with these matches moving forward if the money's available. So that is a little bit about it. I want to also just do one little plug that Public Works has been working with our Community Development and Planning Office to create a survey so that we aren't relying just on our lists from NFIP and the repetitive loss list, that we are also getting feedback from our constituents. So as of yesterday, we have a survey that is now live on the Lafayette LCG webpage, which is LafayetteLA.gov. If you scroll down under the search bar, you'll see the little flooded house, and it'll say that Flood Mitigation Assistance Survey, is I believe what we named it. And that would be for anybody in the parish who has experienced flooding or knows someone who's experienced flooding. Share the survey with them. We're just gathering information to make sure that when we are looking at these grant opportunities and any other public works projects, that we know about your property and that we can potentially look into addressing whatever those issues may be. So that survey is live, and we are going to be blasting it out on social media. Please tell your constituents. If you get a call about flooding, make sure that they know about the survey, have them fill it out, and then we can be in touch with them, about other grant opportunities, whether it's this one, if it's something that Public Works is working on, or any future grant opportunities that we come across. Just so everybody knows, we do send out the letters for this particular grant in November with an application submission of mid-December. But again, this is FY19, so we submitted this application back in December of 2019, and here we are today in 2021 receiving the money and actually starting to work on these elevation and buyouts. So it's not a quick process. If you have a constituent who needs something a little bit more immediate, this is probably not the grant for them. But if you have someone who's willing to wait and can work with us, then obviously they would be great candidates, and we'll analyze their property and make sure that it qualifies.
Okay, thank you. Councilman?
Thank you. A couple of things that I think that we need to make sure that they understand. When you say repetitive loss, one of the things that the constituents don't realize is you have to have an insurance claim to be able to be considered repetitive loss. Am I saying that correctly? Or can I just, let's say I flooded 3 times and it don't meet, let's say, the deductible, and I say, well, I'm gonna just take care of it myself. Can I become qualified?
2 or more claims of more than $1,000.
But I don't have to do the insurance? Or do I have to
Yeah,
claim it on the insurance?
You have to, yeah, 2 or more insurance claims of more than $1,000.
Okay, and that's what I wanted to say too, because, a lot of people, they say, well, I don't have enough damage for the insurance, and then they don't even claim it, so they don't fit underneath the repetitive. So it don't matter. Make a claim. It don't matter. And to clarify, can you let them know about the governor is the one who determines that year if we're going to elevate your property, or we're going to purchase your property from you, or how this works?
Yeah, so every year prior to the applications being submitted, the governor will decide, are we doing elevations, or are we doing acquisitions, or are we potentially doing both? In FY19, it was both, and so we were able to apply for both elevations and acquisitions in some case. There may be times when they only want to do acquisitions or only want to do elevations. So the grant will have to be, that grant application will look like whatever the governor is willing to do.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to clear that up because I know if I misunderstood it, I got constituents that didn't understand it as well.
And this money is already allocated to these properties, so
Yes,
it's not
and I
free
thought-
money that you get to go
I
spend.
was telling my constituents, hey, man, there's money right now we can go get, so I'm glad you cleared that up for us to let us know that it's a process. And then let's say if you flood this year, and this is your 2nd or 3rd time flooding, and you apply for it this year, you might get turned down next year, but you can go back again the year after that, and the governor might open up and say, well, okay, we're going to do it this year, because they might not do it next year. So we just want to let you guys know, if you get turned down one time and you're flooding a lot, you can go back and try for the grant once again. Like she said, it's a long process. But if you have the time, go ahead on and do it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Any other
thank you,
questions?
Mary. Appreciate it. Okay, we have a motion. Any public comments?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 61, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by authorizing the use of prior year fund balance of the City General Fund, Fund 101, in the amount of $145,000, and appropriating within the Department of Community Development and Planning Adjudication Bureau, and by authorizing the use of prior year fund balance of the Environmental Services Fund, Fund 550, in the amount of $23,500, and appropriating within the Department of Public Works Environmental Quality Adjudication Bureau.
Need a motion, second? Been moved by Councilman Carlson, seconded by Councilman Nakam. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 62, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $2,993,085, including $2,799,760 received from the State of Louisiana Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness under the FEMA Flood Mitigation Assistance Program, FMA PJ06 LA 2019-24, grant for the acquisition or elevation of severe repetitive loss and repetitive loss properties, and $193,325 10% match to be received from the Public Works Department Fund 261 Parish Drainage Improvements in the amount of $126,532.20 and Fund 401 Localized Flood Mitigation in the amount of $66,792.70 for the acquisition or elevation of repetitive loss properties, and appropriating within the Community Development and Planning Department, and authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into intergovernmental agreements with the City of Youngsville related to the acquisition, demolition, and subsequent transfer of properties acquired through the FEMA Flood Mitigation Assistance Grant.
Need a motion, second? Been moved by Councilman Nakam, seconded by Councilman Rubin. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Call for the vote.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 63, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending Chapter 26 of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government Code of Ordinances by enacting Article 16 therein to provide for available alternate enforcement procedures related to violations of Chapter 26, Articles 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, and 15 of the Code of Ordinances.
Need a motion and second. Has been moved by Councilman Carlson, seconded by Councilman Nakam. As a note, Public Works has proposed an amendment to include Chapter 26, Article 11 in the available alternative enforcement procedures. I do need a motion and second to amend. Been moved by Councilman Carlson, seconded by Councilman Tabor to amend. Any discussion on the amendment? Councilman Nakam.
Mary, can you just elaborate exactly what we're amending and what we're adding as far as for Chapter 26?
You talking about the amendment itself?
Yes.
Article 11 is the floodplain management article.
Okay.
So we're just adding that in to send all floodplain violations to the Bureau, in addition to the previous articles for building code and property maintenance.
Okay. All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Everybody else good?
Okay, you. Okay. Ms. Williams, any comments from the public on the amendment?
No, sir.
We'll call for a vote to amend as proposed.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Motion to amend is approved.
I need council discussion on the ordinance as amended. Ms. Williams, any public comment on the ordinance as amended? Call for the vote.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Motion to adopt as amended is approved.
Hold up, Jeremy. I need to take care of some housekeeping. We're about to exceed our time limit, so I will need a motion to extend our meeting by 30 minutes. Been moved by Councilman Tabor, seconded by Councilman Rubin to extend our meeting by 30 minutes. Any council discussion? Let's vote.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
Motion to extend is approved.
The motion to extend by 30 minutes has been approved. Jeremy, continue to read.
Joint Ordinance 64, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing the use of prior year city general fund balance in the amount of $2,000 for additional funding needed to cover the cost of legal fees within the municipal civil service department.
Need a motion, second. Been moved by Councilman Carlson, seconded by Councilman Nakam. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
Yes, sir.
Call for the vote.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
We have a public hearing. As I mentioned earlier, all appeals A through M have been withdrawn by the applicants. Introductory ordinance. Jeremy, please read.
Parish Ordinance 46, 2021, an ordinance of the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $4,725,000 in community development block grant mitigation funds received from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, appropriating said funds within the Community Development and Planning Department, and authorizing the contribution of $875,000 in parish drainage funds within the Public Works Department to the Coulee Mean East Flood Control Project.
Need a motion, second. Been moved by Councilman Nakam, seconded by Councilman Tabor. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Call for the vote.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to introduce is approved.
Joint introductory ordinances. I ask for a motion and second to introduce items 25 through 29 in globo. Jeremy, please read. Whoops, scoop, I need a motion. Been moved by Councilman Nakam, seconded by Councilman Rubin. Jeremy, please read.
Joint Ordinance 65, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing the use of city general fund balance in the amount of $197,500 and increasing the use of parish general fund balance in the amount of $52,500 and appropriating within the legal department for legal fees. Joint Ordinance 66, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council, authorizing the filing of an application with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security for a Regional Assistance to Firefighters Grant for the Lafayette Fire Department and the Parish of Lafayette. Joint Ordinance 67, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council, amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $2,306,436.92 in emergency rental assistance program funds received from the U.S. Department of the Treasury and appropriating funds within the Community Development and Planning Department. Joint Ordinance 68, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council, authorizing the filing of applications for grant funding which may become available as a result of the presidential disaster declaration following Hurricane Ida. Joint Ordinance 69, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the non-warranty donation of various adjudicated properties to Sun Community Housing Development Organization pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 472205.
Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Then I call for the vote from the council to introduce items 25 through 29 in globo.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
Motion to introduce in globo is approved.
Councilman Rubin, you have the floor.
I see we have the Little League World Series team out here. You know, we're not going to see them for the parish side, so I personally want to congratulate you guys. I was pulling for you guys, man. Y'all almost got me in trouble on my job, man, watching you guys while I'm working, man. Okay, and on a side note, who's the frog man? He's not here? Man, I wanted some frogs, man. I wanted some frog legs. Y'all let him know the councilman wants frog legs. Okay? No, but congratulate you guys. Job well done.
Why don't we do this real quick? Stand up, guys, and let us recognize you. And by the way, the little frog guy is Mr. Watson, right? Watkins. Okay, good. Okay, congratulations. Meeting adjourned.
Man, that